Well, this video is going to be about the Grizzly GO448 heavy-duty mortiser. I just purchased this not too awful long ago, and thought I'd do a video to show you a little bit about it. I haven't been able to find any other videos on YouTube, so I thought I'd make one quick. It's kind of like any other machines that I seem to get. They always need something changed or fixed, and this one's no different. This machine has a 1.5 horse motor. It takes up to 1-inch mortising bits. I believe it's a 9-inch. It'll go up 9 inches above the table. It has an extra adjustment on the head. Oops, I'm in the light here, but there's an extra adjustment here on the head. There's 2 bolts inside there, 2 nuts. You loosen those 2 nuts, and then you can turn this adjuster here, and this part of the head slides up here. It moves up another 3 inches, so it gives you plenty of room for long bits and bigger work pieces. And it's got a stop for up and down. So right there on the side's the stop. There's the down adjustment, and there's the up stop right here. And it's got a gas strut that holds the head up. As soon as you let go of it, it goes up on its own. And it's got a tilting head on it here. It tilts down here at the base on a single pin down there, right here. You loosen these 2 bolts here and the 2 bolts on the front, and you can tilt it up to 30 degrees either way. And it seems to work pretty well, actually. At first I thought maybe that would be a weak point of this machine. It might be a little, might be some give down there, but there's not. It's pretty solid. I haven't seen anything flux on this machine whatsoever in use. It is heavy duty, as it said. And one of the things that I had to fix was this vise. When I first got it, you couldn't turn the handle at all. It was stuck here on the vise pad, was stuck on the shaft. Well, there's a set screw under here, right there. Now loosen that set screw, then you can pull the head off. And I found what the problem was. That hole in this vise plate is drilled way too deep. The bottom of this threaded screw, or the end of the threaded screw, was nowhere near the end of the hole. So when you push this pad on, the edge right here around the hole came up against the last thread here. But the set screw went into this, missed this groove. It hit up here. So that's why it didn't turn, because somebody had tightened the set screw against the flat here. So the cure was pretty simple. I needed a way to move the bottom of that hole up a little bit. So what I did, I used 2 7/16 nuts, dropped them in the hole first, these 2 here, like that. And then it needed, these are number 10 machine screw washers, 3 of them stacked on top of these two nuts. And that made exactly the right, filled the hole exactly the right amount. So you can see them down in there, the washers that I had. And they're press fit in there, those washers. I had to drive them in with a punch so they can't fall out. So now when you put that on, the set screw actually goes into the groove when the shaft is bottomed against those washers. So just like so. Now it turns freely. Plus, there's another plus to it. I gained a little longer push here, moved it away a quarter of an inch that way, this pad on the screw. Because originally you couldn't, it wouldn't hold a piece of 3/4 stock. It wouldn't go far enough. You can see I added a 1 inch or a 3/4 inch piece of MDF here. I drilled 2 holes in the pad there and fastened it on. And I wanted to get down so it would hold a 1/2 inch piece. And with this fix here and the MDF piece, and then taking this handle off here and sliding it out, about a 1/2 inch, and then reset the set screw right here. You can kind of see the old mark there where the set screw was in there. And by moving it that amount, now the vice will clamp clear down and hold a piece of 1/2 inch stock if you ever need to. Now it works great. Everything turns easy, like it should. So that was one thing I had to fix. And another thing was the stops underneath the table here for the X and Y, or for the X travel here. It had knobs on here. It was the same knobs that are over here on this stop up here. There's 2 more knobs like that. Well, you couldn't reach in here to turn them because it either hit the bolts under here under the vise, or it hits this shaft under here. You couldn't get your fingers to tighten them very tight. So that didn't work well. So what I did was took those out, and I found that they're 5/16 coarse thread bolts in those collars. And I happen to have some button head bolts, 5/16 Allen heads. And I screwed those in, and now I use a long-handled 3/16 Allen wrench to tighten those. And now you can reach in and tighten them real easily from out here, or here, or however you want. Whereas before you couldn't get at them very easy. So now you can tighten them. Anyway, makes it a lot simpler. And you can tighten them tight. I made this little block of wood here to hold the tools that came with it inside the door. There's the 2 knobs that were on those stops right there. And another bushing, that's a 5/8 bushing for the bits. And those 2 things there were the major things it needed to make it work nice. And the only other thing I did was made this dust hose mount here to hold the hose for the vacuum. It's just a simple wedge. There's a wedge here that I made. You push down in here and it wedges it onto the back post. That way I can put it on either side of the machine. Just turn it over and put it on, and it'll stick out over here if I want. You can turn this up and down or slide it in and out. So that works pretty good too. Overall, I really like the machine. It's heavy duty. Like I said, nothing seems to give on it. And so far, I like it. I did buy the Cub base for it to go along with it to roll it around. Let me stick a piece of wood in it and we'll turn it on and see what we got here. I'm going to put the camera down here on the tripod, and we'll try it out. Let's see if we can do that. Move the camera over here someplace where you might be able to see. Crank this up here. Kind of hard to get a place to see it good enough. And where it'll show up best. There, we'll tip it around here. Move it a little closer. Well, we'll try it like that. I don't know if that light's going to bother or not. Turn the light out of the way just a little bit. Well, we'll try it. It's got a, I have a 5/8 square Mortising bit in it right now. We've got a piece of oak here. Give that a try to start with. Nothing special here. We'll just something to show you how that it does work. This particular bit makes a little more noise than the smaller ones for some reason. There was one other thing I had to do to it that it needed was it had these 3 little plastic strips under the bottom of this fence. There was 2 of them down here, one on each side of that bolt, of that hold down bolt underneath, and one at the other end by the bolt. Well, what they did was let this fence tip back slightly. Didn't stand 90 degrees from the table. So I scraped them off with a chisel, cleaned the glue off. Now the fence sits perfect. So that worked well. Anyway, let's see if I can, well, let's give it a try. I pretty much got it set up already, so we'll turn it on. I'm going to turn my vacuum on so it'll get noisy. That vacuum cleaner is a little bit loud. We'll try it out here. Well, that 5/8 chisel does push harder than the 1/2 inch one considerably. But the mortise looks okay. Kind of a little bit on that end there where it kind of crushed the wood a little bit, but that's something I did or not. Anyway, the bit doesn't even get warm. It's nice and cool. So anyway, it works well for me. Well, that's about all I've got to do on it right now. It's maybe as I use it, I'll do some more videos on it. But I really like it. It's exactly what I wanted. And the table moves a long ways in the x-axis. I think it's 14 inches, I believe it said. That right now it's got the stop set, and the same thing forward and back. The only thing that might be a problem is it only moves back 3 inches to the back of the, which if you wanted to do a 6x6, you might have, you won't have enough room. You need a 1/2 inch more travel to do a 2-inch mortise, 2-inch wide mortise in a 6x6. Even though I probably will never do a 6x6, but I could make it work, I think. You could cut a notch back here in the back of the table, a 1/2 inch deep, and the piece of the fence here to go around the post. And then it would make it, because there's enough room on the adjustment that it would slide that far, except it hits that post. Anyway, that's the new tool in my shop. So it's good enough for now. We'll maybe do another video later on it, a little better one. So see you later. Bye.